It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendo. Great to have you here with us as usual. And it's day 132, 132 days since over 200 girls were abducted from the town Chibok, the government secondary school in Chibok, in Ondo State. And we still don't know their whereabouts or whether they're going to come back. Sadly, we did hear reports, I think yesterday, that some parents were planning a funeral for their children since they don't think they're going to ever see them again. It's been 4 months. And for a lot of the parents, the girls are as good as dead, which is a very, very, very sad narrative to go into, seeing as these are innocent girls who were taken from their school at night. And we did hear a couple of times from spokespersons at the Defense Ministry saying that they knew where the girls were. And you would have thought that by now, since they knew where the girls were, they would have been brought back. But I think it's been about 2 months since that statement was made, and we still don't have any progress made with the location of these girls. It's a sad, 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 sad story. Even sadder is the fact that I woke up this morning to hear that about 35 policemen were missing in the town of Goza in Ondo State. We don't know if they were abducted or if they were killed, but 35 policemen, members of security, are missing. If nothing else kills you, I don't know if anything else should be scarier than that. I mean, these are people who should protect our lives, and if they are not safe themselves, this makes you wonder who they are supposed to protect, how dangerous their situation is, which is, I mean, all of us Nigerians. So hopefully in the course of the week ahead, we'll find answers to that. I mean, 35 is a lot of people. One policeman, maybe, we could, I don't know, have an explanation to, but 35 is a lot of policemen to take away or to go missing. So we will be looking at that situation to see what sort of answers we will be getting in the coming week. Of course, Ebola is still in the news, and unfortunately, we did have some sad news over the week. One of the lead consultants who a lot of Nigerians have described as a hero, Dr. Ameyo Adadevo, passed on over the week, and bringing the number of people who have died as a result of the Ebola virus in Nigeria to 5. 4 Nigerians and the Liberian Patrick Sawyer, who flew into Nigeria and has, sort of been the cause for most of the cases that we have in Nigeria. I think 14 cases have been reported so far, and 2 new cases were reported in the past week. And these are the first secondary cases that we have in Nigeria. There were spouses of 2 of the primary contacts with Mr. Patrick Sawyer, which has brought the number to 14 now. We don't know how many more secondary cases there might be, but for now, there's just 14 people, and hopefully we do keep it as low as that number. It's still something that the Ministry of Health is battling to contain. The Lagos State government has done a very impressive job, I think, in trying to quarantine a lot of these cases, and hopefully the week ahead brings us some good news in that front. Speaking of some good news, the Nigerian Medical Association has called off their strike. They have been on strike since the 1st of July. And some people say it took the federal government's sacking of over 16,000 resident doctors for them to call off the strike. But the NMA says they're calling off the strike because of the Ebola virus disease, which is ravaging the country, or parts of the country at least. And they're trying to see what they can do to help the situation. But it's good to know that, the strike is over, and we hopefully have all hands on deck to fight what is a scary, scary disease for a lot of Nigerians. And finally, on to some good news now. Nigeria Super Falconets, I think, will be playing in the finals today at the World Cup against Germany. The under-20 girls have done us very proud. They bashed North Korea 6-2. Hopefully, they have saved some more goals up to be able to beat Germany in the finals at midnight today. They played in the finals against Germany, interestingly, in 2010, but lost that game 2-0. Hopefully, we can exact some revenge against the Germans and bring back, something. Nigerians need something to smile about, and hopefully we'll get that smile on our faces today. We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we're starting up a series on the road to the elections in 2015. Please stay with us. What else? Welcome back. Now, the general elections in 2015 will be holding in February and just a couple of months away. But before that, I think we'll have one more by-election to go, the governorship election in Adamawa State, which will be like a final test for INEC to see how ready they are for the general elections coming up in February. But it's also thrown up something which has sort of continued over the last couple of months, which is sort of the cross-carpeting of politicians. And that's what we're going to be talking about in our first edition of our Road to 2015 election series. And I have here with me Joachim Macebong to talk about it. How's it going?
Fine.
Are you one of the players who are going to move parties soon?
I don't have any electoral value, so I'm not sure they'd bother with me, really.
Yeah. It's a very interesting sort of narrative and hashtag that I've seen on social media, the political transfer window. Yeah. It looks like it's open forever.
Yes, it is. There is no UEFA. There is no, the only laws apparently that exist are the ones that exist within the parties themselves. In the PDP, for example, you can't contest an election if you've not been a member for 2 years straight. So you can only contest an election if you recently decamped, if you are given a waiver.
Who gives this waiver? I've heard about this waiver thing. Is it the president? Is it the head of the party?
No. The waiver is given by the National Working Committee of the PDP, which consists of, among others, the 6 zonal vice chairmen of the PDP are the ones who meet together and then grant waivers to whoever they feel meets certain requirements for them to be able to contest elections. So even recently, a few months ago, President Jonathan says that after some time, if you decamp and then you come back, you're going to have to start from, like the back. You go back to behind the last person. So it's like you start from zero.
Yeah.
So that has its own implications for people who think they can just come and go and come and all.
Before we get into the individuals now in particular, I want to talk about how do you think this is going to shape the elections? Do you think it's something that we've talked about a lot about how ideology should be a part of our narrative in Nigeria, but it almost is not even happening. Do you think this individuals over parties, what's going to be most important?
Parties play a role. That's the truth. Parties play a role because they already have structures on ground. They have the chieftains within the party in all the states have people who are loyal to them. They have existing patronage networks that contestants can tap into and then use that to win elections. For example, Ayo Fayose in Ekiti State, before he was governor in 2003, before he was impeached, between that time when he was impeached and this time when he won, he lost 2 elections in a row. So it's part of the they have to work together. It's not just people or parties, it's both. In most cases, you only have a few cases where people's personalities seem to transcend their parties. There aren't that many people who exist right now. So in most cases, you have a combination of both parties and people and personalities. Yes.
What you said now just brought to mind the governor of Ondo State, Rochas Okorocha, who I think he probably has moved the most. I think he went from APP to PDP, back to APP, then to AMPP, then ACN, then APGA. And but he won under APGA.
Yes.
And he had lost a couple of elections before then. So it makes you wonder if it was a party that played a role there.
Well, it's a bit difficult. You see, while he was moving, he was still doing a lot of his philanthropic work and all the things he always does.
He was still garnering goodwill.
Garnering goodwill as he goes on. So I think he was maybe looking for a ticket, or maybe it was just more or less time for his own for him to get a victory, because I've been doing groundwork for a long time, even before now. Same thing with Fayose. All the while he was losing elections, he was still garnering goodwill, still mingling with everybody and trying to get into people's good graces, and then he paid off at the end of the day.
Yeah. Let's talk about a player now.
Yeah.
Using players in player in quotes, whose move has been the most recent and probably the most interesting for a lot of people, Nuhu Ribadu, who was the candidate of the ACN against the PDP in 2011. And I hosted a debate on channels then, and I know he was on the panel. I know he said a lot of things about the party. He has now crossed too. So it makes you wonder, how does Nuhu Ribadu's particular case, what does it say to you?
We really can talk about Nuhu Ribadu all day. If we start this now, we won't finish. We'll eat up all the time. You can't. If you told someone in 2011 that he will move in 2015 to the PDP, people are going to look at you like, because there's a lot went on. He was stripped of his post at the EFCC when he was graduating from the course he did at school or so in NIPSS school. He was similarly embarrassed there as well. He was called to chair a committee trying to probe goings-on in the oil sector, the report of which has gone to where all those reports go. So
and even up until then, he was still very vocal against the PDP.
And yes, he was. And even on the day he was trying to, he was giving that report, he was also there was dissent within the committee itself. You had I can't remember who it was now, who took the microphone and then began to say all sorts of things like he was just coming for the first time. So you have all of these things, and then you have him going back there. And I think it just says to me that maybe he felt his place in the APC was untenable.
Why would that be, though? Would it have anything to do with Atiku, you think? I mean, because of the same states and the governorship is coming.
It's not just one thing. There is a thing with Atiku, and there are also reports that he wasn't happy at all with the way Nyako was removed as Adamawa governor. He felt that Nyako was not supported adequately by the party. He also there's also some lingering questions about what exactly happened in 2011, whether he wasn't just sacrificed by the ACN and not given the required support. So a lot of all of these things come into play, and then you have and he must have felt that his place wasn't tenable any longer, because it's very interesting that he has gone to a place where there's a lot more competition.
Yes.
Now, because people who are interested in the governorship election include Jonathan's former advisor Gulak. You have also the current governor, the acting governor Umaru Fintiri. You have people like Umar Ado and all of those other people. They all won the ticket. So you have about 5-6 people. They won the ticket, the same ticket that he apparently wants. And so he needs a waiver as well. He needs a waiver.
It's going to be a very tough fight.
Mohammed Marwa needs a waiver. And there's someone else, but they don't need waivers to even contest at all. So
in the first place, So just on final note, now let's move on to the speculations. We heard reports about the governor of Ondo State might be moving. I don't think a lot of people are surprised at that. I mean, the Labour Party has always flirted with the PDP, so that's not necessarily a big surprise. But Tommy Kimi's name has come up as well. A founding member of the APC. He's been a member of the opposition for as long as I remember in our present dispensation, and it looks like he might be crossing over to the PDP.
Well, it may be rumor or it may not. Again, in things of transfers, you have to ask yourself, what's the transfer fee? What are the personal terms? I mean,
because he has been very vocal against the APC.
Exactly. For example, I know that people who know say that the current Minister of Education, when he moved to the PDP, the former governor of Kano State, what's his name now? Shekarau's own personal terms and transfer fee were quite substantial. So you wonder what Ikimi has been promised, if there's any truth to the rumors. So like we say, we continue to observe. Going to be a lot of very interesting happenings in the next few more. In fact, by next week or 2 weeks' time, we could be talking about totally different realities.
We'll have very interesting things to look at. Well, thank you very much, Joachim. We're going to continue this conversation every Sunday, like I said, in our road to 2015 election. So maybe we'll see you again in the future.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for being here today.
Thanks.
And we'll come back. We'll be talking more right here on Rubbin Minds. Please do stay with us.